we're Group Enviro 2 and welcome to our presentation about a human-dominated planet. World population refers to the total number of living humans on Earth. As can be seen in this graph, global population has grown exponentially since 1950, with a current world population of 7.7 billion people. This population expansion is expected to continue for several more decades, and it is estimated by the United Nations that by 2050, the global population will be almost 10 billion people. There has also been an increase in urbanisation, which is a shift in population from rural to urban areas, and there are many ways which we can see this. These pictures show the development of Dubai in the past 30 years as a result of population growth and urbanisation. And this is the growth in population density in the US in the past 200 years since 1810. These fast rates of human population growth and urbanisation result in numerous negative impacts on the environment and other species, which my group members will now talk about.
Urbanisation in a densely populated area has many consequences. For example, pollution and the demand for resources. Pollution, being the harmful input of humans' waste onto the environment, comes in many forms, from the plastic in our everyday lives to the increasing heat affecting every ecosystem, and to the soil pollution from incorrect waste disposal. Human pollution can affect both us and vast ecosystems, as the disruption in one species dynamic can resultingly inflict harm upon others. For example, sea otters are vulnerable to oil spills, which reduces their population. Without their predation of sea urchins are able to overpopulate the area and kill off the neighbouring kelp. These fragile ecosystems depend on sustainability, allowing the ecosystem to remain balanced to ensure a species coexistence. With our city's sharp rise in population, the frequency of pollution is proportionally increasing. This has consequences to our own well-being too, as our pollution into many ecosystems affect our health, as shown by the graphic produced by Econia of effects of air pollution on health. Our urban inflation includes the mass production of food, water, electricity, and most importantly at the moment, toilet paper. Consequently, our manufacturers are strained to keep up with high supplies of these products, and soon all supermarkets could look like the toilet paper section.
Urbanisation is occurring at a rapid rate. By 2050, 70% of the world's population are going to be living in urban areas. This places an immense amount of pressure on the world's agricultural sector. Denmark holds 88% of its population in urban areas, one of the largest urban countries in the world. This, in turn, is doubling the size of farms from 30 hectares to 60 hectares, stated by the Danish Journal of Geography. As a result of this enormous amount of urbanisation, Denmark will not be able to self-sustain themselves, forcing them to rely on other countries to supply them. But every country is in the same situation. In Victoria, prime farmland is being ruined to expand urban areas. This places more pressure on farmers. In turn, farmland is being overused, degrading the nutrient content of soil and ultimately decreasing the yield of crops. Every country will reach a point where they will not have enough food. It can already be seen in Africa. Their land is not fertile to produce food and their young children are dying. We need to improve our agricultural technology now, otherwise our society will starve.
With crop production, land availability, effects of pesticides and water storage all being limiting factors for the future of farming, certain measures need to be taken in order to maintain the necessities for the fast-growing population of the planet. In the present, more than 11% of the globe's available land is being used for crop production, meaning land shortages are already threatening the future of farming. Pressure is also placed on traditional farming techniques for the need for people to have fresh, healthy and nutrient-rich foods. One possible alternative to traditional farming in which could resolve many of these issues is vertical farming. Vertical farming is the growth of crops in vertically stacked levels in which climate, lighting, nutrients and water levels are all automated. Within these indoor facilities, aeroponic growing techniques allow plants to be grown with no soil and 90% less water. Moreover, if successful, the mass use of vertical farming could result in farmland being restored to its original lush state. Whilst there are many positives, cons such as construction costs and vulnerability to power outages are still apparent. Hence, it's humanity's job to determine how problems for the future of farming can be averted, and if vertical farming is the answer.
As most of the population lives in cities, in the future, cities will need to adapt to become sustainable. A sustainable city has a minimal environmental impact as it caters to demands of people in the present without negatively impacting on others in the future. Moving forward, to be sustainable, cities will need to have increased efficiency in as many ways as possible. Current cities will need to adapt, and the way future cities are designed will need to change. An example of something that can be done is creating green infrastructure. This involves designing cities and buildings to include areas of plants and vegetation referred to as green areas. These could be of any size, varying from parks to plants on roofs and sides of buildings to pathways and community gardens. Green infrastructure means that urban areas become more environmentally friendly, which in turn can provide benefits such as increased biodiversity from planting native species and less air pollution as a result of more vegetation, and green spaces making it easier to travel on foot or by bike. In conclusion, our planet is under enormous pressure because of human domination. Therefore, many changes will need to be made in order to combat adverse effects on the environment.